Today we're going to be looking at 8.4, Volume of Prisms. So please go ahead and have your notes out ready to go and a pen or pencil. You pause right here if you'd like while you pull that out. Then we'll begin. So yes, we'll be doing 8.4, Volume of Prisms. Our essential question today will be, how do I find the volume of a prism? And to do so, there's only really two things we have to do. We first have to find the base area, and then second, multiply by the height. So our equation will be volume equals base area times height, where capital B stands for base area, and H is our height. Now the difficult part about this is really figuring out what is the base area. So let's look at number 1. So this is a cube, so I know that if this side is 5, and that means this side is 5, my height will be 5, and then going down along the other side will be 5 meters. So when we're thinking about base area, what we want to think about is the base is a side that it can stand on, and both that side, the base, the bottom, so we'll say this is the base, and the top are the exact same shape. And so if I look by this, I have a 3 by 3 square on the bottom and a 3 by 3 square on the top. So those are my base areas. So we can think of this base as being a square that is 5 by 5. So we know the base area is equal to 5 times 5, which would equal 25. So we've used this kind of like these two sides to draw our square right here. And then I find the base area by multiplying length times width, and I get 25. And now if I'm using these two sides as my length and width of my base, this would be my height. So my height is equal to 5. So my volume would be equal to my base area times my height, which we found the base area is equal to 25, times 5 is equal to 125 meters to the third power. So that is how we're going to find the volume. Is first we find the base area, and then we can multiply that by the height. So on our next one, we can think of the base as being this rectangle that's on the bottom. I have a 5 by 2, so that would be 5 by 2 on the top. So my base area would be this rectangle, which is 5 by 2. And we know that the area of a rectangle, sorry about that, our base is this rectangle, 5 by 2, so we have our 5 by 2 rectangle, that's this bottom rectangle right here. And we know that the base is our length times our width, so it's 5 times 2, which would equal 10. Then our height would be equal to the height of my box, the height of this prism, which is 3. So now I can take my volume and say, well, my volume is my base area times my height, which would be 10 times 3 equals 30 feet to the third power. So the reason why I stress this idea of base area is because it's really this idea that I have the same shape, like same exact shape on the bottom as I do on the top. And that's important because when I look at number 3, we want to think of the base area as being this rectangle. But that rectangle is not the same as this rectangle on top. So if we're looking at a ramp such as this, here's my ramp. You can see that that's my ramp. If I look at my top rectangle, the side that I'd kind of walk up, I have a 5 by 4 rectangle. So that area would be 20. But if I look at the bottom square that it's resting on, that's 4 by 4. So those aren't exactly the same. The two sides that are really the same are the triangles. So my base area is really my triangle. See, it's the same exact triangle on this side as it is on this side. So when we're looking at ramps, we want to think of the base area as being these side triangles. So I know my base is really this triangle right here, because I have the same triangle on the sides. So those are my bases, and they're 12 by 9. And we know the area of a triangle is the base of the triangle, 12, times the height of the triangle, 9, divided by 2. So the base area for this would be 54. So if I use this as my base side, what is the height of this prism? And this is where it gets weird, is we're thinking of the height as how tall the box is, but if I'm really turning my box to rest on the triangle, well, now the height is really this length along the side. So if I look at it, well, if I'm using this triangle as my base, my height is really going to be 18. So now we can say that the volume is equal to the base area times the height. We know our base area is 54 times our height, which is 18, and we get 972, and since we're finding volume, this would be centimeters to the 3rd power. So if you would, please go ahead and pause and try number 4 on your own. Remember, the base is the side that is both the same on both sides. So if you picture this, what shape would really be the base, and what would really be the height? So go ahead and pause number 4 and try it on your own. And then when you come back, we'll look at it together. So hopefully you took some time to try this number 4 on your own. So let's go ahead and look at it together. So if I think about the base area and the height, well, the base is really this triangle, because again, it's the same as our ramp idea, where I don't have a rectangle. We have a rectangle along the bottom, kind of like a tent. I don't have a rectangle on top, so that's not my base, but I have the same shape on the front and back. So those are my base shapes. So we really have a triangle that is our base area we're trying to find. So base area of our triangle, which we know is a height of 3 and a base of 6. And we're looking at the area of triangles. We know it's the base of the triangle times the height of the triangle. And then we divide that by 2. We get our base area is 9. So if we take this base area, that's the area of this triangle, we multiply it by the height of our prism. Remember, if we stood this tent up on its side, our triangle would be the base, and then this side would now be the height, this up and down distance. That's our height. So we know our height is really 10. Now we can plug into our volume equation, where volume is equal to our base area, 9, times our height, which is 10. And we multiply those together, and 9 times 10 is 90 centimeters. And since we're finding volume, it's to the 3rd power. So that's all I have for today. Hopefully some of this made a little bit of sense, and we'll continue with this tomorrow. Have a great rest of your evening, and I will see you tomorrow.